Arsenal shirt, Arsenal episode. Let's go. Hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to another episode of Transfer Talk. Today we have another one club, three player special. This time we're in North London at Arsenal. The three players we have moved to Arsenal are Philippe Coutinho, Willian and Thomas Partey. They've all been linked with Arsenal over the summer, Willian looking the most promising now. But let's jump in to Football Manager and see how they would perform for Arsenal. We're on the club info screen then. Let's have a look at how the players are looking at the start of this simulation. Of course, as we said, Philippe Coutinho in an Arsenal shirt. Wow, what a thought that is. He is an unbelievable player. Can play either behind the striker or on that left side. Has got amazing dribbling, first touch, technique, composure, agility is very good. Only got that one trait, places shots, which might help with that 14 finishing, which is on a tad on the low side. Valued at £63 million at 27 years old. Spent that one season on loan at Bayern Munich. Obviously, that's not going to show on here. Wasn't really fancied at Barcelona, but that Liverpool, when he was at Liverpool, that Liverpool stage of his career, he was unreal, and it would be amazing if Arsenal signed him. Moving on then to look at Willian, the former Chelsea man, or current Chelsea man at the time of recording this, but his contract is about to run out. He hasn't signed a new one at Stamford Bridge, and apparently Arsenal are willing to match the contract he wants. The fact that Arsenal are also another London club means we could see the 30-year-old Brazilian maybe linking up with Philippe Coutinho at Arsenal. I think it would be a really big loss for Chelsea, to be fair. I think he's been very good this season when he has played, but I think he'd be a great addition to this Arsenal side. Look at his dribbling, free kick taking, technique, work great, teamwork. Is still quite fast at 30 years old. The only downside, I think, is the fact that he is one-footed, so kind of limits to where you're going to play him. If I was playing as Arsenal in this save, I'd be using inside forwards and probably inverted wingers also. So I'd probably look to play him out on that left-hand side. That weak left foot puts me off at playing him on the right. So we'll have to see what Mikel Arteta decides to do with him in this save. And moving on, finally then, to Thomas Partey, a centre midfielder or defensive mid, so more of a defensive-minded player compared to the other two. If he joins the North London club Arsenal, he will be coming from Atletico Madrid. I see him playing as more of a box-to-box midfielder for Arsenal. As you can see by his attributes, he doesn't really stand out in anything, but is just quite solid across the board. Looking at his traits as well, I mean, he arrives late into opponent's area, shows he's going to be late into the attack, but he's going to get up there after maybe winning the ball back with that 14 tackling. I think one position in which Arsenal have always struggled to strengthen in, maybe right back to the Vieira days, is a centre defensive midfielder. Of course, at the moment, Lucas Torreira is playing in that, and I think he's very good. But the fact that Thomas Partey brings that height with him, that 6'1" physical presence in the centre, gives another dynamic to this Arsenal centre midfield. So there's a quick overview on the three players we will be looking at today. I don't think there's much else to do, so let's jump on to the end of the first season and see how they all perform for the Gunners. Here we are then at the end of season number 1. Let's head over to Arsenal and see how they got on this season, and more so how the players got on. They finished 5th in the Premier League then, so didn't get back in the Champions League, which is a bit of a disappointment. You can see in the last game that Coutinho and Willian played, but no space for Thomas Partey. Let's have a look at the league table first then. As we already know, they finished 5th behind Chelsea, actually 5 points off the Champions League spots. You can see from down here that Lacazette was the top scorer with 26 goals. We haven't got a striker this time around, so we're not expecting anyone to break that. But the most assists, Willian is joint with Mesut Ozil on 12. So let's have a look at Willian's stats in a bit more detail then. 12 assists in his first season is not bad. 9 of those came in the Premier League out of 36 games. Also scored 6 goals, 3 player of the match performances, and a 7.35 average rating. As you can see, he never assisted anyone or got any player of the matches before, so we don't really know how he performed in the past to be able to compare it. But looking on the face of it, I'd say he's probably up there with one of his best Premier League seasons. So in all competitions, he started 39 games, coming on 13 times. Scored 4 goals in the Cup, which is pretty decent. 6 in the League, as we already said, and then 1 in the Europa League. How far did Arsenal get in the Europa League? I should always look at this beforehand, but I always forget. So let's have a look. How did they get on this time around? More importantly, they lost to Everton in the final of the FA Cup. All 3 goals coming within the first 10 minutes. They got to the final of the FA Cup like they did in real life, but unlike real life, they lost 2-1 to Everton. They got to the second knockout round of the Europa League, losing to Lazio, so not a great performance in that competition. And then, as we touched on already, 5th in the Premier League, so not great from Arsenal altogether, to be fair. A title would have been good for Arteta in his first season like he has done in real life, but it wasn't to be this time around. Moving on to Thomas Partey, I see he's got an injury there. How long has he been injured? He got injured in training on the 21st of May, so right at the end of the season, and is out for 4 to 5 weeks. Not terrible. Is wanted, though, by a Chinese team. I never know how to say it, but they've got a lot of money, so wouldn't be surprised if we come back and he's actually moved. That wouldn't be good. We're not expecting too many crazy stats from this, to be fair. Out of his 34 games in the Premier League, he scored 1, got 8 assists from centre mid. I mean, that's pretty impressive, I think. And 1 player of the match performance. Just over a 7 average rating. So not too bad from a centre midfielder. Playing 34 games, though, he was a key figure in this Arsenal team. Started 44 games in all competitions. Only came on 4 times. 48 appearances altogether is crazy. Scored 4 goals overall then, 1 in the Cup, 1 in the League, as we said, and 2 in the Europa League. Got 10 assists as well. I mean, that's very decent. 8 in the League, as we said, and then 1 each in the Cup and the Europa League. So again, I think a very good season from Thomas Partey, to be fair. Hopefully he can recover from this injury, and more importantly, hopefully he can stay at the club. Finally then, Philippe Coutinho. How did he get on in this Arsenal side in his first season? Let's jump straight over to his history then. Played 38 times, played every game in the Prem. Did he start every game? No, he only started 33, came on 5 times. Every game, though, he featured. That's pretty impressive. 12 goals and 7 assists is also very impressive. I've just noticed his assists and player of the match, probably Thomas Partey as well, I just didn't realise. Have all disappeared, but that's fine. 12 goals, 7 assists in the Prem is very decent, to be fair. Back to his old Liverpool days. 7.12 average rating also. So again, another good season from him. All 3 players have played alright. Why is he number 6 though? That is not right. Why is he number 6? So all 3 players have had decent seasons, to be fair. Nothing groundbreaking, but not too bad at all. Let's have a look at the best 11 then before we move on to the second season. You can see that Lacazette played up top, Aubameyang on the left, Ozil in behind. No space for... Don't worry, they're there. Willian on the right, Coutinho and Parte partnering each other actually in the centre mid spot. Interesting that Coutinho got pushed back into centre midfield next to Parte, but I suppose if you can get Ozil in the squad and get all of them firing, you've got a very solid creative outfit there. It's good to see they've all settled in well at Arsenal. Let's move on to season number 2 and see how they did then. The end of season number 2 is here, so let's jump in and have a look how the boys have done this time around for Arsenal. Are they back in the Champions League? They finished 4th, they could be. Let's hope they are. Looking at the last game of the season, Januzaj is there, interesting one. Coutinho did play, the other 2 didn't. Hopefully that's not a sign that Partey and Willian have left. Looking at the top scorer, Lacazette getting 33, what a season for him. Coutinho getting the most assists along with Marino on 12. No mention of Willian, and Arteta's been sacked or left. So, okay, interesting. I've just seen down here, neutral loss to Man City. Have they lost in the FA Cup final again? Surely not. Have they really? FA Cup semi-final. Okay, but they got to Wembley again. This time lost to Manchester City in the semi-final. Pep Guardiola got one over on his apprentice this time around. Livakovic, though, in goal, has had an absolute mare. To be fair, knowing Football Manager ratings, he's probably had an absolute blinder, and they've given him a 5.8. Let's have a look at the league table then. They've finished 4th, 1 place above the media prediction in 5th. They've beaten Tottenham to the Champions League by 5 points, in fact, so the gap was quite large in the end. Quite a way off Liverpool at the top of the league, as you'd probably expect. 20 points off Liverpool, in fact. And the important thing is they're back in the Champions League. Let's actually have a look at the rest of their results as well first before we jump into any of the players. How far did they get in the Europa League? Did they win it? Hopefully, please. No. They got to the second knockout round again, this time losing to Sevilla. Not a bad season for Arsenal on a whole, but how did our players perform? Looking at first, Philippe Coutinho, key player for Arsenal. We know he got the most assists overall, but what are the rest of his stats saying? He got 7 goals in his 34 Premier League games, 11 assists, 2 player of the match performances, and a 7.13 average rating, so just that 0.1 better than last season. Started 42 games in all comps, which is pretty mad, scoring 10 goals. The other 3 coming in the Europa League, 12 assists overall, and his other assist coming in the Europa League as well. So a good season for Coutinho again. 1 less goal involvement in 4 less games. That's not too bad as well. Let's move on to Willian. Willian's value starting to decrease now, as you'd expect as he gets older. 32 years of age now. His pace is starting to go as well. His physicals will drop as he gets older, but his stats, have they also dropped? He's played less games, so that's something. He scored less goals and assisted less also. His average rating is also down. He started 19 games overall, coming on 20 times, so becoming that bit part player as he gets older, scoring 6 goals in all competitions, one of those coming in the Cup, the other 2 in the Europa League, 5 assists altogether, all of those 5 coming in the Premier League. It'll be interesting to see how little he plays next season compared to this season. I kind of expected him to phase out as we go into the experiment, but he's still playing a decent amount of games at the moment, to be fair. As long as his physicals don't drop too much, I imagine he'll play a similar amount again. Finally, for season number 2 then, a lot of new names around in this Arsenal squad, which is interesting. Let's have a look at Thomas Partey. There he is on the bench, sub number 3 for the last game. He is now 27 years old. How much did he play in this last season? 25 games, so a similar amount of games to Willian, which is interesting. Of course, not as old, so probably for a different reason. Did he have any injuries? We should probably have a look at that quickly. Did he get any injury? The lower back stress fracture he got towards the end of last season kept him out for 6 weeks, so would have probably impacted his pre-season, so might have affected how he played at the start of the season. That could be an answer to why he's played less games than the season before, but only the 25, as we said. Scored 2, so scored 1 more in the league than he did last season. Assisted 4 less, only getting the 4 assists. 6.92 average rating, so dropping below that 7 mark this time around. Not too great, to be fair. Started 25 games overall, coming on 14 times. Scored 2 goals, both of those goals coming in the Premier League, as we've already seen. 7 assists though, so he got 1 in the Cup and 2 in the Europa League as well. So does contribute quite well from that deep centre mid position, which is interesting and quite useful actually. That makes me think he is being played in that box-to-box midfield role. So this is how the best 11 looks for season number 2. Philippe Coutinho has been pushed up in behind Lacazette. Parte still taking that centre mid spot. Merino moves in and Willian has dropped out. He's only made it onto the bench with his 7.17 average rating, which isn't too good. So 2 seasons in, no standout performers and no trophies for Arsenal. When we come back, they will have a new manager. So will that help them get some silverware? Season 3 out of 3 is here. Let's see, have Arsenal finally won a trophy? I really hope they have. I really hope one of our players has guided them to it also. Let's search Arsenal. It's interesting that none of them have left yet either, although they could have done now. Let's have a look. They've finished 4th in the league. Coutinho has played the last game, so has Parte. No Willian. I did think he might get phased out more so this season. Ancelotti is now in charge. No one appearing in the most goals, assists, or most player of the matches. Januzaj has had a great season though, to be fair. 25 goals again from Lacazette. He is smashing it. League table wise, finished 4th. Back in the Champions League for a 2nd consecutive season. 79 points this time around, beating Manchester United, their closest challengers, on 73. So a 6-point gap. How did they get on in the Champions League this season then? We'll scroll right down to the bottom. Lost to Juventus in the first knockout round. Brilliant. Round of 16, they're gone. Looks like they didn't get very far in the FA Cup either. They beat Birmingham in the 4th round and then must have lost to Fulham, actually, in the 5th round. Okay. So not a great season in terms of competition for Arsenal. Still no, unless they won the EFL Cup, they didn't. They lost in the 4th round to Liverpool. No trophy out of these 3 seasons, which surprises me with the quality of players they would have acquired. How have they done then? Let's have a look at Coutinho first in his number 10 role. Valued at £72 million now. His value is shooting up. How did he perform this time around then? 14 goal involvements from 34 games in the Prem, 10 goals, 4 assists, 7.08 average rating, so slightly lower than his previous 2 seasons, which isn't too good really when you think about it. Started 45 games though across the season, played a lot of games, only came off the bench twice, 12 goals in all comps, 1 in the Cup, 1 in the Continental competition as well in the Champions League, 8 assists altogether, 2 each in the Cup and the Europa League also. I think he probably should be contributing more for that amount of games, to be fair. That might be one of the reasons why they haven't done too well in the Cup competitions or brought any silverware home, to be fair. But we can't put all the blame on his shoulders. Let's have a look at Parte, see how he did. Didn't have a great average rating in that last game, just a 7. Valued at £34 million now at 28 years old. Played 37 matches in the Premier League this time around, scoring twice, 6 assists. Again, he's providing a lot from that deeper position. Only started the 37 games overall then, so came on quite a few times, 11 in all competitions. 8 of those substitute appearances came in the league, where he scored his 2 goals, got his 6 assists as well. So all of his goal involvements came from Premier League football, but quite a solid performance from him, to be fair, in that centre mid spot. And finally, for the players then, let's have a look at Willian. Is he still here? Yeah, he's still here. Down on the reserves. Uh-oh. That's not gone too well. Valued at 8.25 million now. His physicals are really dropping fast. 33 years old. Let's have a look at how he performed. Only played 14 times in the Premier League this time around. Didn't score. Only got 1 assist and a 6.95 average rating. So below the dreaded 7 mark. Only actually started 2 games in all competitions. You can see he slowly petered out as the years have gone on. Came on 18 times. Scored 3 goals in pre-season friendlies, but not in any other competition. 2 assists in competitive football. 1 in the league, 1 in the Champions League. But not a great season from Willian. Here's the final best 11 then of this video. Season number 3, Lacazette up top. Coutinho maintains his spot in behind Lacazette, Januzaj and Bruno Henrique. So 2 very different wingers you're used to seeing at Arsenal. Parte still in that centre mid spot, partnered now by Jack Grealish. Interesting signing for Arsenal, that one. No space this time for Willian on the bench. As we saw, he was moved to the reserves and doesn't even make the bench in this best 11 for the last season. If we look at the overall one, does he make it into this team? He does, at centre midfield. Okay, I definitely didn't see that one coming, to be fair. Coutinho in behind Lacazette. No space this time for Parte, which is very weird because he's been in every team of the season, but not the overall one. There we go then, guys. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. An interesting one, you know. No silverware for Arsenal, despite giving them 3 top players who they're looking to sign in real life and who I thought could make a real difference to this Arsenal side. Of course, it is Football Manager, so it's not totally correct all the time. They did lose the FA Cup final and semi-final though, so they did get to Wembley twice, just wasn't to be this time around. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below, leave a comment, tell me what other transfers you want to see. Make sure you subscribe. We're going for 500 by the end of FM20. I think we can do it, and I think you guys can help me get there, so please hit that subscribe button. It does mean a lot. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon.